Hello everyone, Hyper here. If you watched my last few videos, you probably noticed that Patreon links started appearing here and there in the video. Most notably probably on the end screen that I updated either last week or the week before. And I wanted to make a video separately announcing Patreon and kind of what my vision is as far as Patreon goes and how it can support the channel. And in this video I'll also give you a little bit of background on how my channel started because I never really made a video about that. So first of all, what is Patreon? If you are someone who watches Twitch, for example, you probably know that there's sub buttons, people can donate, and YouTube doesn't really have something that's equivalent to that. So most YouTube content creators turn to Patreon for this. And it is essentially just a monthly payment, and there's a few different tiers that you can subscribe for, and each tier gives you some kind of rewards that I set up. So before we get into that though, I wanted to start with a story of how this channel actually started. My first video I ever made was in Nighthold on Ursoc during Mythic Progress, back when I was in a little guild called Legend on a tiny server with just a few guilds on it. And in this guild I was the raid leader. And on Mythic Ursoc we were struggling with the DPS check, and at the end of the raid I told all of the raiders to go on Warcraft logs and take a look at, compare themselves to other people who've already killed a fight and see what talents they were using and what they could improve on potentially so we can kill this boss. And a few of the people got back to me and said, I've never really used Warcraft logs, I'm not sure how to do that, could you help me out here? And instead of helping out everyone one by one, I decided that it would be much easier to just make a video that I can just link in the guild, and that would help out everyone at the same time. So I went ahead and recorded this 50-minute long video, absolutely ridiculous, and today I could probably make the same video in about 5 to 10 minutes and still get you the same amount of information, but it's the first video I ever made, so I wasn't really expecting much from it. And it was also just for my guild. And that was the first video I ever made. And after making that video, I kind of realized, there's actually potential where I can help out a bunch of players. And the first few videos on my channel were very basic things like key binding, setting up macros, setting up very, very basic weak auras, how to look at Warcraft logs, obviously, even though the video is not on my channel anymore. But the focus on my channel pretty much stayed the same. Like I want to make the same kind of content. And obviously now I'm raiding in a higher end Mythic guild. So my perspective on the game has changed a lot and I've become a lot better as a player. And that allows me to give more advanced guides and more advanced help to players. But I still want to be able to make basic videos such as, for example, key binding or, just helping out with general things, as well as being able to give very specific advice to players. And that is kind of the direction I want to go with this channel. I will have a lot of videos that are Death Knight focused, and since that is my main class, which will help you with DK in particular, with either with Frost, Unholy Blood, whatever, even within that there's a bunch of areas that warrant videos. But I also want to make a lot more general content that helps out just players in general rather than just Death Knights. And this is really where Patreon can help, since a lot of the videos that I create, are focused on helping people. And if I have this support, I'm able to spend more time making videos and improving the quality of the content as well as the quantity of the content. So this kind of leads me into how Patreon works and how I set up the reward tiers. I set them up varying from $1, which is the minimum, to $50, which is the maximum. And obviously there's a few ranks in between. And with the higher contribution, the better reward you get. But one thing that I'm really against is locking content behind a paywall. So no video that I will ever make will require anyone to pay for it. So simply said, every single video that I make will be obviously free on YouTube and will be available to absolutely everyone. I don't want anyone to feel like they can't benefit from the content I create just because they're not able to support the channel financially. And the second half of Patreon is kind of setting up goals of when you reach a goal, you kind of, for example, my first goal is a monthly AMA. And this will happen when we reach $100 a month on Patreon. And this is kind of where my viewers and the people who contribute can really help guide how we set up these goals and what these goals actually are. So obviously the first one is the monthly AMA, but I can set up a bunch of goals. As we reach one, I'll always set up a new one, where some of the goals will be reoccurring, obviously like the AMA, whilst others might be like a one-time project, for example, setting up a website where you can have access to written guides rather than just video guides here on YouTube. And this is really where the people who contribute and the viewers can guide what type of content I can create in the future. When it comes to supporting content creators, Patreon really has the right idea, because previously YouTubers, for example, heavily relied on sponsors. And when you have a sponsor, you most likely want to create videos that kind of generate more clicks, get more views, and maybe not videos that you really enjoy making and recording. This is really where Patreon flourishes and really gives content creators a chance to make the content that they want to make. And that is, of course, with the support of all the viewers. So if you decide to support the channel financially, I greatly appreciate it, and that will most likely allow me to continue this work and make more videos, make better videos. And even if you can't support the channel financially, simply watching the videos and liking them or subscribing to the channel really means a lot to me. I will have a link to my Patreon in the description box if you want to take a look at the reward tiers and what you get specifically for each one. And there's also a short intro video there that's about 1 minute to 2 minutes that kind of outlines my general ideas of what I want my Patreon to be and how it can really help the work I do. But as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.